It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Yeah, and Rick, Dick says that with a lot of conviction today after the Habs whenever they beat the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? They, if you told me you've got a choice, 3-game losing streak and beat the Leafs, or 3-game winning streak and lose to the Leafs, I don't know. That's not an easy. I might take the 3-game losing streak, and as long as you beat the Leafs, then. So, what about yourself?
Yeah. I think judging by the reaction from the crowd yesterday and online yesterday, I think most people would agree with you, Grant. Most Habs fans, at least, would agree with you. What fired everybody's belly last night, and it was fun to watch. It was much needed. And these rivalry games when a team is struggling is often the tonic you need to get. Didn't quite work out as much as would have liked with Boston, but I think Toronto was the ultimate challenge, and getting some new blood in there. And boy, did the team look so much more confident yesterday than I've seen them in a long, long time. There was, the stick wasn't being held hard, and there wasn't overpassing, and there wasn't, things were clicking. And when a team is confident and not overthinking, they click. And yesterday, that's what I saw. I saw the team that was more like the team at the start of the season. Granted, Toronto's not a great team, especially not with some of the players that were not dressed. But you can only do what you got, and that was their opponent. And Montreal played really, really well, a well-deserved win. And boy, you felt it. You felt you could sense the energy of the team, and the relief and the happiness and the confidence. It all came back. It looked like it came back yesterday. Hopefully, they could build on that as I think this week they're getting up in the Western areas. So. Just a positive all around, in my opinion. More than the score is the way they played, right? That was the number one thing.
Yeah, especially in that second period. I haven't seen them play. Might have been their best period of the season, I think. Toronto scored at the end of the period, but the first 17 minutes of that period, it was complete domination. I think the Leafs had 2 shots on net or something like that. And it just, I've seen so many times when Montreal has a 3-goal lead on Toronto that they come back. You just didn't get the feeling last night that was going to happen, because the Canadians were just that much more dominant in that period. Demidov back on the power play. It looked a lot sharper, right? The passing was the crispest I've seen it all season long. They were really moving the puck smartly. They got their game back together, and not a minute too soon. It was needed. The goalie had to come up with save the first few shots. I thought that was an important thing too. And for once, for the first time in a while, the goalie at the other end didn't outplay Montreal's goalie, and I think that was much needed as well, and it ended up with a well-deserved victory.
Absolutely, and what can you say about Slafkovsky's game last night? This is the first time in a while that I really get the sense that I saw a glimpse of what Slafkovsky's final product will be when everything is finally all put together. I commented on the game. I've never seen him, probably ever, be so aware of time and space than he was yesterday's game. He was holding on to the puck until the last second, making the right play, moving it. He was not hesitant if he saw a bit of an opening to take advantage of it. He wasn't being too cute. He was just getting in there, using his hands, because he's got good hands, but his power too to push through. And he was causing the Toronto defense to have to back up a lot, and giving that team that space with that creativity. I really think he found his game more than I've ever seen him, probably, maybe ever, like, play that kind of game that I think he will become when everything is put together, as he gets experiences and he grows into that big body of his.
Yeah, not since the Olympics have I seen the puck possession confidence that I saw last night from him. He can handle the puck. He's got that ability, skate and handle, and his stick handling like it's going to be good, but we just haven't seen it enough in the past. I agree with that. But last night we got a good, you know, similar. I guess that hat trick game. Remember the hat trick he scored? That was probably
Oh,
similar, and he got a
yeah,
breakaway, and he,
yeah.
he had a lot of confidence with the puck that night. That'd be the only game where I'd say he was close to the same as he was last night.
Mhm,
Could have had, another game where he could have had 2 or 3 points with it with a bit of luck. Um, I like Kapanen's game again. Kapanen, he just does so many little things well. That back check pickpocket of Nylander was sweet. Winning a lot of puck battles, screening the goalie. Didn't get any points last night, but it was just a good game to show like
yeah.
just all of the different elements that Kapanen can bring to a line. Um, I like to see Bolduc came down. Um, I like that that Marty gave Slav uh cookie in the third period and said, okay, this is how we want you to play. And when you play that way, you get to play with Suzuki and Caulfield because he put him back
Mhm.
on the top line in the third period there. I mean, he clearly outplayed Bolduc last night.
Yes,
So,
yes, he did.
you know, he deserved to be on that top line. And I'd like to see him replacing Bolduc on the power play and get that power play back with Slav and Demidov on it, as opposed to Slav being off the first power play and Bolduc being out there. Uh, they do have to get Bolduc going here though, and hopefully, well, it's not like Demidov and Kapanen are poor line mates. If they do end up putting them back with switching those two around, I think eventually they can hopefully find some chemistry together.
Yeah, I could see that working. I think Bolduc. One thing about Bolduc is he does bring an element of open eye sitting. If he has an
Yeah,
opportunity, he likes to do that, and sometimes that motivates the crowd and the line mates. And I think with Kapanen and Demidov's give and go and passing ability, because they do move the puck really well, he'll be able to profit from that if he focuses on shooting the puck and getting that one timer. And there's going to be opportunities for him on that line, because I think maybe on the first line when you got Caulfield, and even to a lesser extent, maybe Suzuki, who also has a really, really good shot. There's not as many opportunities for him to shoot, and that's, I think, offensively is more his bread and butter. But with Demidov and Kapanen, I think he'll be able to get some shots out, and all he needs is maybe one or two good goals or a big offensive game to get that confidence rolling. And I think that line could work. I really do. I think it would make a lot of sense, and I think it'll be able to better work to his strengths, Balzac's strength, that line playing with those two.
yeah. They've got uh, they've got the back to back against Utah and Vegas. Um, they have to start Dovish the next game. I think.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that they can. But the back to back. What if Dovish wins that game? Would you come back with him? Would you come back with him the next night, or would you go with Monty?
No, I would come back with Dobes. It's a good opponent, and there's no point. I would just try to give as much practice time to Monty as I can. Let him mentally reset. Let him make some save, even if it's in practice right now. He just needs to make saves somewhere. And if it's in practice, it's in practice. It's fine. Right now, I just think not only for the team, but even for the guy himself, like he just does not look well mentally in the net. I think he's shell shocked. I think he's worried. The anxiety's up there. So just let him face shots after shot after shot of practice, make a lot of saves. Even if it's simple saves, but you start with that. And yes, at some point you're gonna have to put Monty, but the Habs lost a few games in a row. They didn't play well. See if they could get a 2 or 3 game winning streak before you put in Monty to just make them feel good about themselves. And then you know,
Yeah,
uh, the standings being what they are, you want them to get a bit of a little bit of more of a cushion before putting Monty in. I think you're much better off that way.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like the team just, I mean, they won't say it publicly or to him or the coach or anything, but they have to just not feel confident with Monty. Not only doesn't feel confident, but I don't think the team can feel confident with him in the net right now. Especially, you put him in, and if he lets one in the first three shots, it has to deflate the team, right?
Yeah.
They can't keep playing from behind all the time. And last night, I thought it was important for them to get a lead, get the crowd into it. Uh, the goalie had to make some saves to start the game, and Dobes did that. I think he stopped the first 10 at least, anyways, in the first
Yeah.
period, right? And that was important. And there's just no indication that Monty's going to start a game and save the first 10 shots because I don't know that he's done it all year, you know.
No, no. But
Anyway,
I'm hoping that if the team, plays better hockey generally, gets their footing back, defensively they also play better. They might be able to better box out the opponent and have a lot less dangerous shots. And then if Monty could make a few easier saves, nothing complicated, just some easy saves, and then again his headspace might change a little bit, and then he kind of gets a little bit more confident. And again,
yeah,
you could build on that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be fantastic saves. Just make some saves for now. Because if the team doesn't play well, their defense starts to crumble. Then he's facing hard shots. Forget it. You're done. Like it's too difficult for him. So and you saw that yesterday. One thing I liked yesterday too about the Habs is the I mean, you call it the chemistry or the symmetry between the offense and the defense was a lot better. The forwards were coming down a little deeper, and the first pass was a lot better by the defensemen yesterday. They were just playing more secure, smarter, and everything worked out better. So the first few shots generally were not too bad. Like Dobes had a chance to get into the game a little bit, and then they built on that, and you could see the confidence build. And you're hoping they do the same thing about Monty because, I mean, let's face it, the best scenario would be to Monty to come back to a better level, which he did last year, right? I think he could still do it. And give Fowler that chance to stay in the AHL and continue gaining that experience. If you have to call up a Fowler or a Kakkonen, it's a second best solution over having Monty back to what he was like last year.
yeah, but I mean, it was the second best solution a month ago. Time's running out on it being the second best solution. Like if 2 weeks
Yes.
from now he's still struggling, it
Oh yeah.
becomes it becomes the best solution. And
Yes.
likely Kakkonen's playing. His stats are good, and it'll likely be Kakkonen that gets called up. But I wouldn't be averse to it being Fowler either if he's playing better and if Monty's not up to par. Because right now I think Fowler's a better goalie than Montembeault, and typically your best goalies should be the ones that are playing, not you know there's no reason why you leave it too long. And I mean, it's a business. Unfortunately, Samuel Montembeault is a great person, and everybody loves him, and we hope for the best for him. But at the same point, the team needs to win hockey games, and if 2 or 3 weeks from now he still hasn't got it together, a team that's so ensconced in a playoff race is going to have to make a hard decision one way or the other.
Yeah, it'll be interesting too to see in terms of numbers. I don't know what the roster is, but if the rumors are true that Montreal will be looking into signing Alexandre Texier to a contract, can they still call in a third goaltender like a Kakkonen and just maybe not have to bring anybody down? You could bring on Dobes if need be, but I'd prefer to keep him up if he starts to play well again. So I think even if they sign Texier, they still have a spot for a Kakkonen to come up, I believe. So that might not be a problem, but I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head if that's possible.
Well, they can send players back down to the AHL that are up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, like Joshua would go down pretty quickly,
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
that's it because he wasn't dressed yesterday. You're right. You're right. That's why I forgot. I Habs also forgot that they weren't sending him down, and so did I.
Yeah. And you know, but I think Florian's earned another look, obviously.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Marty gave him a puck with his first assist and all that, and Dobie got to wear I guess they got a wolf's head now or something. I don't know what that's
Really?
all. I don't know if it was a coyote or a wolf. I'm not sure, but they graduated from goggles to a wolf's head. I don't know. I
You
don't know
got to
what
break a
the kid.
slump somehow.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the story is about that. Somebody Genesis Foxtrot fan, or I don't know. I don't know what. I have no idea what
I have
that's
no
all
idea.
about. I'm sure there'll be article about it real soon. Inquiring
Yeah.
minds want to know.
Yeah.
Um, but so Slav back on track. Dobish looking better again. Those were two keys. Xhekaj, the last couple of weeks, I think I liked his game again last night. I don't know if
Mhm.
having a little bro there inspired him or not, but I thought he looked pretty good. A lot of people, all excited that apparently Xhekaj, uh, you know, oh, he killed this Dakota Mermis guy who's not, I would not call him a heavyweight uh, fighter or anything like that.
No,
And
no.
and it was really just an exchange of punches to the visor from what I saw. I didn't really see anything. I mean, it was fun to see them hit each other 30 times in the visor, but I didn't see anybody get pounded. It was just one of those modern day NHL fights where you just exchange shots to the helmet and you know, um, rev up the
But I
crowd. But
but I think it was the fearlessness though, right? He just started punching with no kind of where a lot of fights, you're holding on to the jersey and throwing a punch and holding on to the
well,
jersey and throwing a punch, and he just started swinging away. Like maybe that's the only thing that was a little different, and the enthusiasm
oh,
of after the fight and jumping
yeah, but
around from a young guy. But yeah, it's the aspect of Habs fandom sometimes that you call up a guy from the American Hockey League who's he's a good young player, but one who's slated to be a third, fourth line player ultimately in his career probably, and you kind of go, he's the next savior. And there tends to often be the first
yeah,
every
well,
time a player from the AHL gets called up for the first time, everybody says that's the savior, right? That's the guy who's going to change everything, and you kind of go, well, it's manage your expectations a little bit. But we'll see how it goes. It started off
yeah,
great for Florian, and he understood what he needed to do. He stayed within his limits. First time he had a chance to hit somebody across in the boards, he went hard on him, and so he understands what he has to do, and that's the first step. Good stuff. Uh, but he's not a high end talent who's going to carry the team on his back either.
no.
Let's just be careful about that. There.
Well, and he's not a high end fighter either. Like I think people have to tamper it down a bit on that. He's willing,
Yeah.
and as far as like when you're saying well, I mean, Mermis threw about 15 punches to start. So yeah, he had to swing back like that because that's what the other guy was doing, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
got self-preservation. You gotta uh, give what you take. But um, Dakota Mermis is like I don't know 5'11",
Yeah.
like uh, people got all excited, like they're just getting overly excited about. I've watched every fight of Florian Xhekaj's career, and don't be expecting, you know, Matthew Olivier to be quivering in his boots. Put it that way,
No. No.
Um,
No.
but he will. He's willing and able, right? He's
Yeah.
got the Xhekaj blood. Did you see the great shot of the old man there? Hey,
Yeah, I did.
and then mom,
Don't do
it
that.
was the classic. And he looks over. Oh, okay, I better, mom's
Well,
not.
Dad was put together too. Eh? He's a big boy.
Oh
Dad
yeah,
is a
no, you
big
can
man.
see. Yeah, I've seen pictures of him before, and I think know where they get their fighting genes from for sure.
Yeah.
the old man. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, a scary looking
Okay.
man. But yeah, safe to say he doesn't mind the odd scrap.
No. That's the thing. At least, but he does have the willingness and the courage and the enthusiasm to it, and so he
His
becomes like a
dad?
really interesting energy player, right? He
Okay,
he
I
he
was talking
goes
about
for
his
it.
dad,
Oh, his dad. Sorry, no, Florian. Sorry,
but
his
you could
dad.
be
Yeah,
right. Yeah, he
I
could
don't
have
know.
the energy and willingness.
Yeah. But the whole family seems to be very excited about stuff. They're often posting on social media and
Yeah,
excited about their son. They look like a fun bunch.
yeah, for sure. Well, blue collar town, Hamilton, right?
Yeah. And I think the mom is still working, or probably what last game she went back to work after driving all night, right, to start her shift the next morning, which was a fun
Yeah.
little story. Um,
Well,
I think also for the Habs on their social media put in a funny little post during the game yesterday. It goes, everybody who's scoring's name ends by son, Dobson, Hudson, Anderson. All you needed was Matheson and Davidson, and you would have had the whole thing.
yeah. Wow. And yesterday was the day of the defenseman in the organization. Rybacher two goals. He
Yeah,
looked dominant again. Engstrom goal, 4 assists. Willie Trudeau scored a goal. 2 goals for Dobson. Hudson scored. So the day of the defenseman. It was pretty cool. Um, y- Adam Engstrom. Everybody excited about that now. Oh, gotta call him up. Yeah, if there was defensemen that were struggling, you'd call them up, but you know, all of the injuries were to forwards. Uh, the 6 defensemen that are in the lineup right now are playing well.
yeah,
Uh, you know, left side is loaded. I think there were a lot of scouts at the Laval games this weekend, and I don't think they were just there because they like the chant shows at the Laval Arena. I think they they are keeping a close eye on Mr. Adam Engstrom.
absolutely.
And as much as I like Adam Engstrom, and don't get me wrong, I think he is an NHL player.
Mhm.
He will be an NHL defenseman and a pretty good one. I do think that he is the prime trade asset right now playing in Laval, and that a lot of the talks that Montreal's been having, I get the sense that just because you look at the lineup, right? They're loaded on left defense. Uh, he's the next guy up on left defense, but there's no spot for him. Like the Canadians don't need. Yeah, Engstrom got 5 points last night, and he's providing offense and all that, but they don't need offense from their defense right now. Like first and foremost, they need good defending, physical play, shutdown kind of guys. You know, like the guys that are kind of on the that you would possibly replace are Xhekaj and Struble, and they need those guys in the lineup because
Yeah,
they give a balance to Hudson and to Matheson and to Dobson and give the team the right balance. And Carrier's a defensive defenseman, but he's not. He's 5'11", and with
yeah,
Gouli out of the lineup, I just don't think the right call is to bring up another kind of offense first, uh, a defenseman. So, and then when Gouli comes back, they got 5 left defense, right?
no.
So where is the spot for Engstrom? I don't, as much as I like him as a prospect, I think he is the prime candidate to be moved between now and the trade deadline. What are your thoughts?
I agree with you on that one because, on top of everything else, Grant, if you call up Engstrom, he can't play the same role he plays on Laval
No.
with Montreal, right? He's not going to get the first power play unit. He's not going to play those big minutes. So now you're taking a guy who's excelling in Laval doing something, forcing him up to Montreal, but not putting him in a position where he could use his best tools because other people with more experience and more NHL talent to do that role are going to play that. So you're going to bring up Engstrom to be third pairing defensive player against other team's best lines. Like,
Right.
it's impossible. He's not in a position where he can do that. So Habs fans have to remember sometimes, some of them, that you can't keep every prospect you like. You can't trade a prospect that you don't like for a player that you love because other teams probably don't like that guy too if you don't. If Ekstrom is playing well and you love what you're seeing from him, well, think to yourself, other teams feel the same way. Other organization feels the same way. And so what you're saying is he becomes an asset, an attractive one, where you can get the player that you need to fill a role. That's what you want to do, right? You want to have an abundance of one thing so that when you trade that player, you're not replacing a problem with another one, but you're actually just making your team better. That's always been something in the past with Montreal that happened where you might trade a young defenseman because you need help in forwards, but then you become a weakness becomes your defense. Many years ago, Sergachev or Drouin, right? They traded Sergachev way too early, and then when he was gone, well, then you were lacking depth at D. It happens. Good organization have an abundance somewhere, and they could use that to make a trade that works for them long time. So great that Engstrom is doing good. Hopefully, teams are paying attention, and I'm sure they are. The great thing about Engstrom too is he's a left shot defenseman. He plays right too at times. That's fantastic for other teams to see that. Say, well, he's a left shot. We'd like to use him on the left, but he could play on the right in a pinch too. He might be able to get you a really good asset in return without the Habs having to give up like a first round pick. Which you want to keep those guys. If you can make your team a lot better and keep your first round pick, that's awesome.
Yeah. Or, the first round pick in Engstrom gets you back a really good
or really a superstar. Absolutely. Yeah, great. That's no problem. An asset is an asset.
Yeah. No, and that's what at the end of the day, these guys are all assets. I can guarantee you that all the scouts that were at the games this weekend weren't there to scout Josiah Didier,
yeah,
right, the pro scouts from other teams. They're looking at Engstrom, maybe Beck, and whoever else that might possibly be available as Montreal looks to. I'm sure they're looking to get a forward at this point. With the injuries to Doc, to Line A, to Newhook, there is a need to add another forward. Even if they get Texier, I still think they could use two. So
Texier is a body, right? You always need a guy who could come in, and I think he's a bit like Veleno in a sense that he can play center, he could play both wings. Veleno's the same thing, so you need those bodies in case of injuries. You don't want to over rely on Laval all the time, and bring up a youngster who maybe gets his minutes cut, or bringing up a youngster too soon. I mean, those guys are not going to be signed to. Veleno's only signed to a 1-year contract. I don't think they're signing Texier to a 5-year contract if they do either, right? They're going to sign him short term, and he could be a body and a player that you need guys that don't play every game, but that could fill in a pinch everywhere. That's the best thing I always said, right? If your extra forward is exclusively a right wing, it's not the best thing. But if your extra forward could move around, that's helpful.
Texier and Veleno are 12-13 or 13-14, and they lost guys that are in the top 9. So what they need to do is find a top 9 forward.
Oh yeah. I mean, these guys are there for a short-term pinch, not to fill a role for the team, but just a short-term, a few games here and there, if needed.
Absolutely. So let's have a look at the at this Atlantic Division here. Safe to say that's tight.
Jeez.
Let's see now. 2 points separating first and fifth. Montreal's in fifth, and if they win that game in hand on Detroit, they're tied with the first place team. you look at the well, 20 points percentage wise separating the first and fifth team. It's crazy close. The Canadians, 6-5-1 at home. That's going to have to change, Rick, if they want to. They're heading off on a road trip here with a 5-2-2 record, which is one of the best in the NHL away from home.
Mm-hmm.
That may
Yeah.
change. That may change with this is going to be a tough Western swing that they're on here, but they might be 5-5-2 after that. But if the Canadians lose these 3 games, do you think that they're in trouble, or if it just get back to Montreal and actually start winning some home games?
I don't think necessarily they're in trouble just because it's still early in the season and it's so tight anyways. They're in trouble depending on how they play, right? If they lose heartbreakers, close games, they're like, well, that's fine. They're in trouble if they fall apart like they did the last few games, right? Because then it would have happened too many times in a short period. And then you got to wonder that there's a major long-term problem on your team. And that becomes the danger with Montreal, is that if you feel like you have a major problem that cannot be solved internally,
Well,
yeah, you're gonna have a problem. So
it
the
goes back.
performance of the team is going to be number one. They're going
It
to have
goes
to
back
show up to play.
to goes back to goaltending. If the
It does.
goaltending sucks in this 3
They're
game
done.
road swing, then they're in trouble. I think.
Yes. Yes. The good news is their last few Western road swings had gone pretty well. I think last year they were incredible on the road, right?
Yeah.
But that was the holiday, and it was in the Easter. But I think they did really well in their last Western ride too, mind you. They're taking on really good teams still on this one, so they're going to have to really play well. Hopefully, this last game will give them confidence, and they'll continue doing what they did, which is to take the game to the opponent, force them to chase, move the puck quickly with confidence, and not hesitate to shoot when they have an opportunity. Those are the things they're going to have to do.
Yeah.
And as you said, I think one of the incredible things too is Buffalo's really moving up to Toronto soon, and not too far from Florida.
No.
They got a game in hand over Toronto. Wow, never thought that would have happened at the start of the season, but here we are.
Toronto.
We did say Toronto would struggle, but they really are struggling.
Toronto is 1-6 on the road, which is not very good. So,
no, for a team that's a Stanley Cup contender, as they see themselves as, not being able to win those hard games on the road is a sign of a major problem.
Absolutely. Well, the Sens have been they've been the hottest team in the Atlantic. They're 6-1-3 in their last 10, and that's without Brady Tkachuk. They get Tkachuk back. They're looking pretty solid now. Allmark found his game, and that was important. It just goes to show, you need your playing well, and it can be the difference between being a contender and being an also-ran. So freaking Boston, 7-3. They just keep
incredible.
They've got a tough team. Like the Zadorov looks like he's reached another level there. He's he's their new Chera, not Chera light. And even without McAvoy in the lineup, Zadorov has reached another level as a physical shutdown defender that's really he's playing mean and playing well, and it's in the Boston mold, right? That
it's exactly
they have that kind of player, and they've got some ruggedness and size in the lineup up front as well. They're a hard team to play against, and the Boston crowd loves that type of team too, and they're not easy to beat at home again. So I don't know that they're going away. I've changed
They have
my I've changed my
no,
tune on them.
yeah, no, and they have a capacity of finding guys that fit their mold so well. Geeky was gone for not much. He fits. Xhekaj was gone for not much. He fits. Zadorov was picked up as a free agent, even though a few teams had given up on him. He fits. They always find, even Kastelik is a nice fit on that team. And they didn't get him for a hell of a lot. They just find guys that understand how to play the game that they are expected to play in that organization, and it matches. They really are masters at it because they haven't drafted high in forever, and they always find players somehow, and they haven't, had to go on the free agent market like let's say Tampa Bay pick up a superstar name. They've I think Lidholm is the last big name they got on the free agent market. You could say Zadorov, but when they picked him up and they signed him, he was not like the big free agent signing of that year. They just identified him as being the right guy. Ton of respect for the Boston organization. Their scouts and their
Yeah.
pro scouts really understand who they need to get and what works for them.
Yeah. They got the two Lindholms, the one on defense and the one up front.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that was a key, getting him from Anaheim. He's a really
Oh, yeah.
solid defenseman. Their top three defense is really good when McAvoy's in the lineup, and you got Lindholm, Zadorov, and McAvoy, and that's kind of, and then Swayman's playing well in nets too. So it often starts from the back end out, and Geeky's become a bona fide NHL goal scorer, which not a lot of people predicted, I don't think either. And you put it all together, and they're going to stay in the hunt. Maybe they'll come back down to earth a bit. I think Detroit's going to, but the longer this goes on, and the longer these teams are in the mix, it's so tight that it's going to come down to the last couple of weeks, and it's going to be very fun to watch the NHL this year, because I think in the East, especially the Atlantic Division, it's going to come down to the last weekend this year,
of course,
for several teams.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's going to push the Habs to try to make a deal sooner rather than later and not lose these points now, right?
Yeah,
and that's going to be the pressure on the Habs coaching staff to, as you said earlier, to you could only give goaltending so many opportunities that after a while that you're going to shoot yourself in the foot if you wait too long. And that's why again it goes back to what I was saying before. Give Dobes the next few starts. Give Monty practice time. Let him focus on just making easy saves during practice. And if that doesn't work at this point, then you really got to call up somebody and
yeah.
do something else.
With all those injuries, the rash of injuries up front, I think it makes it more urgency to get somebody soon. Whether that's just signing Texier, or I think that they might have two moves there: sign Texier and see if they can find another forward and have that depth. But that's that. Let's get on here to Habs prospect of the week.
Absolutely.
This is not going to be a surprise, I don't think, to too many people, given his 5-point game last night. Not many. I don't know the last Habs. I'd have to do some research on it, but I'm suspecting that there haven't been many Habs AHL defensemen that have had 5-point nights. Maybe PK Subban did when he was down there, but Adam Engstrom is our prospect of the week, and
awesome.
It's well deserved. Let's just look at the 5-point game. Brought him up to second overall among defensemen in scoring. 14 points, 5 goals in 18 games. I think he leads all defensemen now with five goals. And honorable mention could go to Rybacher. He's been really solid. But Engstrom's on a 3-game goal scoring streak, and he's looked pretty awesome of late.
Oh yeah.
So saying, "Oh, trade him," but it's because you trade him when he's hot, right? What trade him
Yeah,
when
good point.
his value, trade him when the value's high. So here's just his goals, and then one assist that I'll show here from last few games. There's a nice rush,
Yeah.
and found the short side. All three of his goals were, showed off his offensive ability. Here's
Oh, his skating.
the overtime. Tapped the stick,
Oh,
got her back to him.
wow.
Belzil to Engstrom, and he won it in overtime, second last game. And then last night he had the goal and the assist, which were nice. And for some reason, this isn't showing it, but that's fine. I think everybody saw the highlights.
Yeah.
Another nice goal by him, and he's he's earned it. He's earned a look in the NHL, but I just don't see the Canadians having the spot, and that's a pleasant problem because they're just so loaded right now. I'm just getting the goal here. There's the goal last night.
Awesome.
And, he made a great pass to Farrell too. But what do you? I know you went and saw Laval a week or so ago, and I mean, we all can appreciate just how good a skater he is and his skill level in general, right?
Yeah, and it's the perfect example of coming to North America and slowly adapting and understanding what you can and can't do. And his judgment is getting much better. His vision he's interpreting the game a little quicker and with his speed, and he's got good passing ability. He still once in a while will maybe overcommit defensively and maybe take himself a little bit out, but his skating is so good that he generally recovers fairly quickly, and he's getting a little bit more confident with the physical aspect of the game. He'll take a hit, he'll absorb it well, and move on, and not be rattled by it or not run around after it. He's just makes these. He's just making decisions right now and playing with that confidence to make things happen, and he's understanding more and more when to take a chance, when not to, and once
Yeah,
in a while, the last time I saw him, which I didn't see as much of from last year, when pressured, he just moves the puck safely out of the way, not to cause any bad giveaways or putting the team in a bad position. So it's great to see a guy with the tools coming from Europe, from Sweden in this case, and adapting and learning the game and not forcing what he does well
yeah,
overseas here. He's adapted to the game here, and now he's using his tools properly here. And I can't imagine that teams are not noticing that and really. The thing is, when you're rebuilding and you're giving away uh, a good asset, uh, yeah, you want the draft picks, but it's nice to have a young player that you could also put in your lineup and to kind of get, especially when it's a defenseman, to get that rebuild moving quicker than to just get a bunch of draft picks that are a lot further along, and it takes you longer to have something to show for. At least with Engstrom, you could bring him up and start to get him ready for his NHL career now and give him
yeah.
that ice time.
Here's the assist on the Farrell goal last night that I really liked. That cross ice pass on
Yeah,
the power play was
beautiful.
was exceptional. So, um, he nice that he has a 3-game goal scoring streak, but he showed last night with the 4 helpers that he's a good puck mover. Interesting that they've had him running the power play, and obviously know what they're doing. What they're doing, I think, is showcasing him.
Yeah,
Um, saying, "Look, this guy's 22 years old. He's second in the AHL in points among defensemen. Um, this is a good asset. What will you give
yeah,
us? What will you give us
yeah,
for?"
yeah. It's so
So
hard to develop defensemen. It takes such a long time that you have a young one that's ready to step in. That's just awesome to get.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, there's our Habs prospect of the week. Like I say, an honorable mention goes to Rybacher. He's looked very good in in all aspects of last two games. At 2 goals last night. He's just his games just you watch by February. Um, he's going to be a dominant AHL defenseman, and I can't wait to see what the Canadians do come February, when I think he'll be dominating in the AHL, and they'll, okay, what do we do here? Do we call him up? Do we keep him all year down there? Even though I think he's better than some of the guys we've got on the roster. Like, it would be nice to have Hudson back on the left side and Rybacher. Eventually, that's going to be. I just see that being a pairing, Hudson and Rybacher. Hudson on his left side, Rybacher on the right. But we'll see. I
It's
have a
difficult
feeling that
too.
by February, the Canadians are going to be wondering, hey, what do we do here? Do we call him up now because he can help us and help us win now, or do we wait? Um, I think he can help them in the playoffs if they make the playoffs. He's the type of guy that, with that size, that range, the his ability to play a physical game, that he will become a good. He, he he will help them come playoff time, and if the hope is to have him in the lineup for the playoffs, they'll want to have him playing some regular season games too before the playoffs. So
Yeah,
there'll be
yeah, I
decisions to
agree.
make. There'll be decisions to make on him if, as I suspect, he's going to just get better and better here and be the dominant AHL defenseman by February, and make it, a hard decision for what exactly to do with Reinbacher at that point, because
Yeah,
you know typically a top five pick, by February of this year, you know most organizations have called up that top five pick, right?
of
He's
course.
he's ready, so we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, it could go either way. They might also decide that they want to keep him down there to maybe lead Laval to the playoffs and be their number one guy. Especially if Engstrom is moved, then Ryan Backer becomes their top guy and the one who runs everything from the back end. Might be a good experience. Again, it's always the same thing. You talk to Pascal Vincent, you get the idea of his coaching staff, see what they feel about it, see if the product is complete and ready to go, or if he feels that a few months extra in the AHL would be like a short term step back for a long term gain later. Uh, it could go either way. I don't know, right? Because boy, if you bring him up and he could really play to the top of his abilities, got a really good top four, a good top five actually. Matheson and Dobson and Hudson and Goulet and Reinbacher. That's a lot of good players right there.
Yeah, yeah. One of them had to be on the third pairing. It's
Yeah,
yeah, like Goulet, Carrier, Hudson, Reinbacher, Matheson, Dobson. It is a pretty nice six defenseman, and I think
yeah,
eventually they might be looking at that. But then you also got Arbor and Strubes, and I like them both a lot. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. Maybe one of those guys becomes a trade asset before the
yeah,
end of this year too. It's well, you don't
yeah.
know, but let's um let's get to draft prospect of the week here, Rick. We're gonna
All
start.
right.
We're getting revved up for that. I had a look at the Five Nations um, tournament in Europe that recently, a couple of weeks ago, and Nordmark and Hermanson have kind of been the guys that thought of as top 20 prospects. They had great Ivan Holenka tournaments. or Hlinka Gretzky, sorry, I guess they call it now. They they look like top 20 prospects and the main guys outside of the top, the top guy, obviously, Stenberg, who's in the running for the top 3. But
Yeah.
there was a kid playing who wasn't at Hlinka in the summer. He played U18 last year, so safe to say he's a riser. But the start of his junior season in Sweden warranted him getting getting called up to the U18 team and playing in this Five Nations tournament and playing top center role beside Nordmark. And I went in there thinking, well, is Nordmark a top 10 pick? Left the tournament thinking, no, he doesn't compete hard enough. But his centerman, he competes. He had a really good tournament. He had 4 points against the U.S. He had 6 hits against the Czechs, and I've got some highlights of that Czech game here, and a goal and an assist. He's got 11 goals, 12 assists in 16 games, I think it is, in Swedish junior. 6 foot, 6'1", center, aggressive, smart. Alexander Command is his name. So let's have a look at his game against the Czechs in the recent Five Nations tournament. Okay, he's number 11 there in on the Swedes, on the dark uniforms. There's his goal. Followed up the play. Scored the second goal of the game. But we'll take what I like, Rick, is he really likes to finish his checks. As I said, he had 6. Check out the face-off too. He's 59% on face-offs this year in the junior. So really good on draws too. But 6 hits in this game. I liked his puck protection there. So he's good at protecting the puck. But here's the just idea of his battle. I really liked his battle throughout this game. Here he is again, clearly winning the face-off back. But they had him playing in all situations and with Nordmark, and I ended up liking him more than Nordmark, to be honest with you. Well, I mean, he's a center. And he competes a lot harder than Nordmark does. There's been knocks about Nordmark being a little lazy and maybe even a bit soft this year. And honestly, I saw him kind of cheat a few times. But this kid, as you see here, he's all battle, like a gritty, competitive, play center, which always gives you more value. And this draft class doesn't have a lot of centers.
No.
So that ups his value as well, right?
Boy, he's physically strong. It's hard to knock him down.
He is strong, yeah. Yeah. And then goes to the front of the net there. Got a little bit of Cappy in him, this kid. But even more of a propensity to hit. Like, look at that again, right?
Really good hit.
Yeah. No, he finishes his checks and likes to hit. There's another one. The big Czech defenseman goes to hit him, and no, I'm knocking you down. Then goes to the net again. Really liked.
They just can't get him out of the way, man.
No, really liked his compete level throughout this game, but he's also smart, makes good plays, decent skill. His skating's not great, and if there's anything that maybe keeps him, I don't know, out of the top 20 or something, it might be that. But you're centering the top line on the Swedish team. You're typically not a poor skater either, right? You got to be able
No.
to keep up with the pace. And there he is hitting again. On that occasion, maybe he took himself out of the play a little bit, but I still like the fact that he likes to run guys. Here he gets the puck out, won a
Jeez.
pile of puck battles, and then just creamed the guy. That one's worth seeing again. Here he is, gets it out, and then the big guy goes to hit him, and no,
And
you're
that
going
guy
down.
had like 5 or 6 strikes on him too. It's not like he
Oh,
was
I
caught
know,
off guard.
I know. And then again, boom, like one of the more competitive players that I've seen in this draft class so far, and centering Sweden's top line and on the power play, kind of come out of nowhere. I don't see him on any, high on any list, but he looks like a first rounder in this draft class to me. And maybe he's a top 15 guy, I mean,
Yeah.
you look at the pass, the play to Nordmark, there's the goal. That was his assist that went along, but he made the play there. He worked really well with Nordmark, sees the ice well. And again, another hit. Here he is on the draw again. I don't know what his percentage was in this tournament, but he seemed to win all the important draws. And then there he got knocked down, but being a pain in the ass going to the net again, right?
Yeah.
Here he's what are you seeing so far there, Rick?
Well, I think you put it best, right? Obviously, the first thing is his physicality, his ability to stay strong on his feet. I don't know if I did see a lot of creativity in his passes, but I see effectiveness, which is more important than anything else, right? You're gonna make a pass, make it work. He's moving the puck well, amazing on the face-off circle. Uh, he doesn't seem to tire out. He's like an energizer bunny, always moving. Yeah, skating is not the best. To me, his stride seems a little bit short at times, especially on the first few steps, and then he kind of seems to get it back to a longer stride after.
Yeah.
I wonder. I'm not a skating specialist, but I think it might be fixable somewhat.
Yeah.
But he stays in motion and he stays involved, and those kind of things can compensate average skating quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Here you at again, he doesn't mind mixing it up. So
No.
that game was really impressed me as far as okay, this kid's if you're looking for a kid that can play maybe a third line all around role that's just going to help you win playoff games. I see a lot of playoff type a playoff type player there. And in this draft class, I don't know, a top 3 center that you think can play in the playoffs is a first round. He's a first round possibility. Now we'll see. You're going to this tournament, right?
Yeah.
You'll be at the World Junior Challenge, and
Yes, I
that's
will be going for the semifinal, the final day there, the Saturday. So I definitely can't wait to see that.
Yeah, well, I would imagine Sweden will be in one of the final 4 teams. They're going to be pretty stacked. So probably, they might be favorites too. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on this kid and
I will.
give me your impression of his skating when you see it live. And I think it might be a strength related thing. Hopefully, like his stride. I don't think he does the 10 to. I don't know that it's mechanically poor, but probably needs to add some lower body strength and stuff. But typically a kid's playing a first line center role for Sweden at the U18s. He's not a poor skater, right? At
No,
the end of the
no.
day, he's just not above average, and that might be what holds him back from being a high pick, but all the other aspects are there for him to, uh, that he's very smart. He's good on draws. And what we didn't see in these replays, or in those highlights, and what I did see when I watched highlights of his goals in junior, he can really blast the puck. He's got a
Okay, that's
really
good.
Yeah, he's a goal scorer. So 11 goals in 16 games in Swedish junior as a rookie because he played U18 last year. And that's quite impressive. And I believe he's June birth date as well.
Oh
So
wow,
he's pretty
okay.
young,
So that's
right?
important. That's really important.
Yeah. Uh, but I see just, at first glance, a possible first round guy there for sure.
Hey,
And
folks, Grant has often identified guys before anybody else for the draft. So if he's saying that this guy's a first round pick, pay attention. I really would, guys. He's that means something.
well, as long as the skating, and I'll get feedback from NHL guys too, that because they're all going to be there. I don't think I'm going down to it, but I'll watch the games on, you know, on TV and video, and we'll get a better idea if he's legitimate first round prospect at the World Junior A Challenge. I have a feeling that's going to be his coming out party because, like I say, I don't see him on lists, but I'm just getting. We're both just starting to get rolling on this draft, but
Yes, yes.
uh, for me, there aren't a lot of centers, and you know, they hold a lot of value, just like defensemen. And if he, at the end of the day, is one of the five best centers, and looks like it in this draft class, that he's likely a first round candidate. So
Absolutely.
you went and saw Shilov the other night.
Yeah.
How did he look for you?
There's his hands are really really good, really quick, really soft, really gains the blue line effectively using those hands. He keeps his head up a lot. He knows what's going on the ice. I think he's really a good playmaker. I think his line mates were not really taking advantage as much as they should have of his opportunities. Moves well. There's a nice fluidity to his skating. I think main issues I had with him is he's really really slight. So it was maybe hard for him to get into these into really good scoring position, although he does have a good shot. So the talent is really impressive. Like talk about 15 to 20 overall in the talent in terms of pure ability. But I think he might go a bit later than that. A little bit inconsistent sometimes on his back checking. When he does commit to it, and at times he does, he's really good at keeping a stick down, breaks up a lot of plays using his intelligence. He transitions really quickly out of his zone. So there's a lot of good things to look for, but the inconsistent defensive game at times and his slight build and an ability to gain body position at times might keep him out of the top 15 to 20. I think I see him more as a 25 to 35 overall pick right now if I had to kind of look at it. Really interesting background in a sense. Came to North America at a rather young age. Played with Green Bay or Milwaukee, one of the two Wisconsin teams of the USHL. I believe it's Green Bay. This year he's going to Victoriaville to develop, and I think next year he's committed to Boston University. So I respect that. Might be a bit of a longer term project, but definitely some talent. And if a team is willing to be patient, they might be rewarded if he puts it all together. But
Yeah.
one thing, that was one of the more boring games I've seen in years.
Mm.
It was 0-0 after two periods. I think there was 6 penalty minutes overall. There was just not much going on, so it happens, right?
Do you see him as a center in pro?
Right now, the jury's out. Let's wait a bit. I think I see him right now a little bit more as a winger, but
Yeah.
He's got enough intelligence to be a center if he really continues putting it all together and we're patient. There is enough intelligence and two-way awareness. I would say two-way ability to have two-way awareness, but not always the will to do that as consistently as I'd like.
Yeah, I looked at his goals against. I like to do that for centers and defensemen in particular. And,
Yeah,
you know, it's ugly when you just look
yeah,
at his goals against, where, he's not moving his feet on any of these. He's like, so,
yeah,
you saying about the willingness to back check, that's
yeah.
something that's going to have to
Oh yeah,
definitely come.
oh
But
yeah,
that's something that, you know, especially Russian kids coming over that you know he was probably a star uh, in his minor league career down in Russia and didn't necessarily have to back check a lot. Uh, Especially if he goes the college route, I think that'll be good for him because he's going to need 2 or 3 years at least, and they're pretty good at BU at you know teaching you
yeah,
that's a key. So maybe the fact that he is going to go the college route might make the odds of him developing into a center a little higher.
yeah,
So, um, but I mean, he's putting up good points to come to North America and be that productive right away is a testament to his skill and his IQ, which are always if he's got top 15 skill, top 15, and he's smart, he could end up being a first round pick, I think.
yeah. No, again, it's definitely like a long-term project, a lot of unknowns, and again, I could you said it better maybe than I could have said it, but I can't stress that enough. When he does back check, he does it rather well. He understands positioning. He's intelligent enough, but almost like it's 1 out of 3 times that he really comes back as hard as he could, right? There's often a little bit of we'll see if the defense can handle it, and he should be a little bit more aware, I think, because Victoriaville doesn't have a great team, and no, their defense is a little bit suspect in a sense that Maddox Labre takes a lot of time, a lot of the opportunities, and not a bad defenseman in the queue, but he's 6'1", 185 pounds around, so there's not a ton of depth in Victoriaville at defense right now. My understanding from what I've seen, and I spoke to somebody there, is Gabriel Degg started off with some difficulty, but the last 4 or 5 games, he's really starting to come back strong, which is good. That helps the team defense. But yeah, you got to be aware of what you have with you and who could handle it. And I think Victoriaville needs a little bit more consistent defense from him because he is bringing the offense, but they need more defense from him.
Good stuff. All right, Rick, we'll let you go here. Thanks for making it out there after your car woes last night. And
Oh yeah, thanks.
we'll, get your tires into the car and get your car
My
into
alternator fixed, which is not going to be fun.
into the garage.
Yeah,
And there's always something on the go here, eh? Life
yeah,
life is not a bowl of cherries for any of us. It's just, hey,
no.
that's the way it is. You got to roll with it, right, my friend?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks again, Rick,
Thank
and
you.
we'll hopefully see you. I don't know if I'll be doing post games with the Western trip. There might be a few night owls that want me to do it. Maybe they can talk me into it, but you won't be coming on. I know that, and I won't be
I
asking
do
you.
that. No.
And but we'll see if we can't get you on again soon, and certainly next Sunday to talk
Absolutely.
about Habs prospects and the Saturday night game. And
Absolutely.
look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Okay.
I can't wait, Grant. Thanks so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Rick.